ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris is back for some more Hearthstone Arena action. Here we're in the middle of a run with Priest, and the first game against a mage was a little bit disappointing. But then we had a pretty nice win against a rogue, so should be doing pretty good in this arena. I don't know if I can make any predictions. This deck, it's not the best Priest deck I've drafted, nor is it the worst. I still have never made it below 6 wins with Priest, and that is in 11 arenas, so I do kind of want to keep that streak going if I can, but hey, all good things must end sometime, and perhaps you are now about to witness the end of Papa Boris's success with Priest. You know, when you play Hearthstone, it's always one of the saddest moments is when you have a really good class, and it's always going to happen, but eventually you're going to just have like a really bad run with that class. There's just no avoiding it. And so it's always got to happen. So I haven't had it happen yet for Priest. I've had the Heartbreaker with Shaman, I've had the Heartbreaker with Mage and with Rogue. No Priest yet, but there's a first time for everything, even the bad things, so we'll see. Up against a Mage, I am learning to get more and more frustrated playing against Mages. I think, a lot of people say they hate playing Priests. I see that Priests are very strong, but man, I think Mages are even better, because with the Flame Strike and all the like single target removal, like the Polymorph and the Fireball, it's just so difficult to ever feel like you have a sure thing. Like every game against a mage, you're always clenching your teeth. So even if like statistically they do as well as the other classes in practice, oh please, God, in practice it's always emotionally difficult to play against this class. All right, well we got a light well here. Might as well drop it. My opponent's going to need to help a little bit. Need to help this mana worm to kill the light well. So when you play Arcane Missiles against a 2-toughness creature, there's a 50-50 chance the creature will die. And, of course, I lost the coin flip. If I had won the coin flip, then I could have killed off this mana worm with my Ooze. Instead, the Ooze just dies for nothing. And here we have a Frostbolt, so my opponent, of course, had the correct spell to kill off my light well. The quote-unquote good news is, I guess, that if I actually let this mana worm grow to 5 power, I can kill it with Shadow Word Death, but that's actually not good news. I'm just joking, because the Shadow Word Death would be much better reserved for something that is more superior. So my opponent used Arcane Missiles, she used Frostbolt. We'll see just how much removal she's holding. I've placed a Chillwind Yeti in her path. Normally I would expect this to suck up 2 cards, or at least a Premier card, at least like a Fireball or a Polymorph to deal with this thing. She's going to coin out to grow her mana worm. Okay. I sense another spell coming. Then that would allow her 1-drop to trade with my like best 4-drop in the game drop, which is, you know, fabulous. Scarlet Crusader. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Oh, she's going to use hero ability. I see what you did there. And then the mana worm killed it. This is insane. Well, balls. The perfect answer to this is Shadow Word Pain, which is a card I never saw. So I have equally unpalatable options here. This could have been Ascension, and boy do I wish it had been. I'm just going to play this as a 4/4 for 5 mana. It blows. There's no question about it, but whatever. It's the best play that I had. I mean, what else was I going to do? Nothing? Dark Iron Dwarf and pump up the Scarlet Crusader? Yeah, that's no good. So this is another mage, and it looks like to be like it's going to be another loss. She's giving me a little bit of a moment to breathe, spending her turn to draw cards, but that only gets her further ahead, because, I mean, she was already ahead. So we'll play our Giant and hope for the best. Fireball would deal with it, Polymorph would deal with it, Frostbolt would freeze it. I mean, there's just a lot of ways my opponent can deal with this. She's got 7 cards, 8 to my 5. Ugh, this is awful. Alright, that guy comes down. Well, in this particular circumstance, that's not the worst thing I could have seen, which is nice. I get my own Squire attend me if I want. Let's think about that. So if I do the Squire attend me, I can kill her 4/4. The problem is, see, we both have the Squire, but she's a mage and I'm not. So this just dies to Flame Strike, he and his Squire. If I then use the Ogre to kill the Silverhand Knight, then this Ogre will be at 3 health, it will also die to Flame Strike. So what I'd actually rather do is kill her stuff in this particular circumstance than play my own stuff. So order is very important here. First I'm going to attack, then I'm going to Holy Nova, so that my guy gets the heal, and then I'm going to heal my guy again to keep his health total high. Now again, a Fireball plus hero ability would kill it off, Polymorph plus hero ability would also kill it off. So my opponent has ways of dealing with it. She just top-decked a Fireball. Such is life. But anyway, that was at least her whole turn. So we got a little bit of advantage from the Holy Nova. So it's pretty even here, 6 to 5. I mean, definitely worse things have happened. We'll play the Silverhand Knight and the Golem. So the Sliverhand Knight dies to Flame Strike. The Golem survives, although it survives in a damaged form, and then the hero ability will pick it off next turn, which is kind of sad. I can do a pretty nifty play here. I can actually have enough mana to play Stormwind Knight and Dark Iron Dwarf to buff it up to be a 4/5 with charge. Alright, looks like my opponent mercifully does not have the Flame Strike, or at least doesn't want to play it. There's a Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Actually, she's starting to play kind of subpar creatures here, which is fine. They both have 3 health, which sucks. Everything has 3 health, so the Stormwind Knight is not going to kill anything just yet. Let's take a look at what we get here. Twilight Drake. Well, I could just ignore what she has and just swing for 6/8. The problem is she's at full health, so it seems like trying to keep on killing her stuff is a good move here. Okay. I could run the Squire in, use the Dark Iron Dwarf to finish things off. I'm a little bit leery of putting this onto the board because it does die to Flame Strike. Let's make sure we... shoot. The Twilight Drake also dies to Flame Strike. It's just a 4/4 for 4. Well, let's play it before it becomes totally terrible. Let's kill the Flesh-Eating Ghoul, because you should always kill Flesh-Eating Ghouls first before they can have a chance to grow. I'm going to heal my guy. I'm going to try to keep my board presence somewhat muted, out of respect for Flame Strike, and we'll pass the turn here. So I'm trying to build up some card advantage in preparation for the inevitable Flame Strike. She just top decked this card. It might be one she likes. Nope, she's going to play an older one. There's the Azure Drake drawing a card. It's 4 power, so it does not get killed by Shadow Word Death. Arcane Explosion is pretty good there. She has 2 Arcane Explosions. You have got to be freaking kidding me. Jesus Christ. Well, we're going to do a little trick here. I'm going to buff the Azure Drake's power so I can kill it with Shadow Word Death. And just heal myself. Azure Drake and 2 Arcane Explosions. It's not one of the things that you think about when you're like, tools a mage has to wreck your day. But it is one of... I mean, it's just... Mages have so many ways to wreck your day. It's crazy. There's a Shattered Sun Cleric being pretty good. Novice Engineer should have come down first, because you should always draw cards first. Notice how casually my opponent is just extending a lot of creatures against me. That's because I'm a priest, and Holy Nova is not adequate to deal with the situation. She's going to leave my Dark Iron Dwarf alive. She's going to start to race. That is a reasonable decision. Although in this particular case, it doesn't work out too well. We are going to get to kill one of her creatures here. And I better go ahead and kill another. And at this point, I'm just saying if she gets Flame Strike, she wins. But I have to take risks. Sea Giant is a pretty good card. Oh my god. Oh god. She's not even gonna bother killing my stuff. Yep, she's not even killing this Dark Iron Dwarf. She's just going balls to the wall as Dickens here. I need Mind Control. That's pretty much the only thing that would save me. 2 in 15 odds of drawing it, and I don't. I don't think I can kill enough of her stuff, unfortunately. 8, 3 is 11. So basically, if this lives, everything else has to die. At least the Shattered Sun Cleric and this and the Water Elemental all have to die. Well, I can heal myself, I suppose. Alright, well, let's heal up. Play a Nymph Master. Let's kill this. That. And pass the turn. She's got 11 damage here, 12 with her hero ability, so she needs any little thing, and I'll die. Flame Strike, and I lose. Cone of Cold, that's, you know, why not have yet another thing that's incredibly good here. And there's a Frostwolf Warlord for good measure. So my creatures can't attack, and she has an overwhelming board. The Azure Drake and the double Arcane Explosion was essentially a Flame Strike. Mind Control arrives too little too late. And she's going to win with maximum health. So, I don't think there's a lesson to take away from this, other than... Well, the Dark Iron Dwarf was bad there. Ascension Shield Master would have been better in that game. So maybe that was a misdraft. Although I think it might have just been an accurate draft that just didn't work out. That's kind of the tricky thing about learning how to get better at the arena. any given pick, you know, there's all you can always come up with a circumstance where like the worst card will be better. I mean, you could have a pick that's like, you know, Boulder Fist Ogre versus 1/1 Murloc, and then you'll come up with a situation where the 1/1 Murloc is better. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the card is better. It just means that, you know, this is a game with random chance and different things work out differently. We're up against Matalisk, a fellow priest, so happy not to be seeing a mage. Ah, there's our solitary taunter in the deck. Shadow Word Death can wait, and the Mind Control can wait. We'll have our 2-drop here. Probably playing the Knife Juggler first now, so that I can fling a knife when the Frostwolf Grunt drops. That's good. Silence potentially could be good. So actually, Silence is really good against priests. It's interesting when a class has cards that are really, really good against that class itself. Silence is great against priests. There's so many things that you want to be silencing that priests have. Light Wells, Light Spawns, Northshire Clerics, and the list goes on and on. Alright, luckily my opponent did not have a Northshire Cleric on turn 1. That is good news for me. Alright, well, I think we're going to change plans here, play Mana Wraith. So this is very devastating because basically if my opponent had nothing to play at 2 mana, as far as creatures are concerned, she's still at 2 mana thanks to the Mana Wraith. Excuse me, he's still at 2 mana thanks to the Mana Wraith, so he's being held up by a turn. Now obviously, Holy Smite would kill either one of these, Shadow Word Pain would kill either one of them. Next turn, Shadow Madness will actually kill both, but that is a rare. So do I play the Frostwolf Grunt here? Kind of extends pretty hardcore against Holy Nova. Let's not do that. I don't want my opponent to play Coin Holy Nova and kill 3 creatures. That would pretty much catch her right back up. So we'll just calmly wait. We'll wait for her to play the inevitable removal, either Shadow Madness or Holy Nova, and then I guess I'm doing alright. You know, it's a bit sad I couldn't make it to turn 6. Yeah, there's the Holy Nova. It's a bit sad I couldn't make it to turn 6, and I could have played the Boulder Fist Ogre. Ah, no, it's this guy. So she's coining him out and killing the Knife Juggler. Well, that's interesting. So basically what my opponent's doing is keeping the Mana Wraith alive. But the problem with this plan is that I can just suicide it and then play my 5-drop. This card is so good, but one of the reasons I think I don't like it as much as other people is it's just so bad against mages, because both parts die to Flame Strike. It's a 5-mana thing. It's not really getting you anywhere. Okay, now in this particular circumstance, he worked out really nicely, because he put 2 creatures on the board for piddly 5 mana. I could make a 6/6, or I could play the Imp Master, try to make this guy bigger later. Nah, we'll just do this right now. And I'm going to take a little bit of a risk. I'm actually going to silence this thing. And this is another case of 0 mana, deal 6 damage. Now the risk is my opponent could play Inner Fire on it. Or like Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, and hit me for 28 damage. That's always possible. And so then I just threw away my silence. But I'm hoping that's not going to happen. Alright, he has a pretty tame play there. The Fen Creeper just kind of spending his whole turn putting something in my path. That's fine, I think. Now we have to give consideration to Shadow Madness here. I could actually steal the Fen Creeper. So this would be 6, 9, 9 plus 6 is 15 damage. If I had 8 mana, I could actually deal the 2 more damage I would need to win. I could deal 15 damage, take it down to 2 health. I don't have direct damage, and my opponent is a priest. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and play it a little bit slowly. We're just going to do the Boulder Fist Ogre. We'll kill the Taunter, and we'll just attack. So this game was a very silly game. My opponent just didn't have anything, and I put creatures on the board and won, which is fine, because that's basically what my 2 mage opponents did against me. And I will take an easy victory. Ah, there's the Mind Control tech, stealing my 6/3. Mercifully, this has Summoning Sickness after being Mind Controlled, so I don't really care that much about it. What I might care about is what my opponent can do with 4 mana. There's a number of scary things a priest could do. Looks like he doesn't have anything, though. I mean, if he just heals up, he's going to die. 6, 10, 12, 14, 17 damage is the potential that I have, barring taunts. Notice how good that silence was, folks. Silence like this Warden allowed me to put a lot of damage on, and it keep putting damage on every turn. And it allowed me just to deal that 0 mana spell dealt so much damage to my opponent, it basically won me the game. Anyway, my opponent has nothing, so we'll just make sure I haven't screwed up the arithmetic here. Let's Shadow Madness that thing. And swing-a-ling-ling for our second win. So we've had 2 losses where we got crushed, and we have 2 wins where we crushed the opponent. So I'm not feeling super confident about this particular deck, just because usually if a deck is going to be good, first of all, you're not going to be at 2-2. that's a pretty good indicator. Yeah, Papa Boris offering the wild insights on his channel. Usually, if your deck is good, you won't lose games. But aside from that, usually if a deck is good and you do lose games, they'll be really hard-fought losses, and I just got steamrolled by those mages. Goliathus. You know, it's possible that, certain decks just are bad against certain classes, and if you get unlucky in that arena, you'll face the classes you're bad against and just lose. So, I mean, that could be it, too. It's possible that I'm just bad against mages with this deck, and the fact that I saw 2 mages early on sucked. A mage crushed my dreams last night as well, so mages are just a tough class to do well against. Best way to do well against a mage is to play as a mage. Now, do I want to coin out the Knife Juggler? Yeah, I think I do. So I can put a light well down, fling a knife, stop my opponent from damaging me, and that's nice because Warlocks tend to be very rushy. And I have a turn 3 and a 4 play as well, so since I have this like 2-2-3-4 business going on, I might as well use the coin. Ah, there is a fellow Knife Juggler. Well, we're going to have to put plans on hold just a teensy-weensy bit. That is very worth Holy Smiting. So we kind of missed the light well. That's fine. We'll play a bear. That should be good. And then this guy's fine. The thing you have to keep in mind against Warlocks is Hellfire. Hellfire allows them to kill off a lot of your stuff. And Scarlet Crusader is really frustrating. I think she is just actually going to get to kill 2 things here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the bear, because there's a chance that the Knife Fling will pop the Divine Shield. Of course it didn't. So we'll do that. Now the nice thing about the bear is that the Scarlet Crusader can of course smack into the bear and kill it, popping Divine Shield, but then if the Knife Juggler still lives, which it might, yep, there's a chance that this guy is going to fling a knife and cause the knife to fling at the Scarlet Crusader and kill it anyway. Alright, well, let's take that chance. I could play the Lightwell, but then I have only 2 mana left over and it's not enough to play the Dalaran Mage, so we'll play this. Alright, that's actually, well, should I have actually attacked this with the Knife Juggler first? Maybe I should have, because that doesn't actually help that much. I mean, now I can kill this with my, I was thinking, well, I want to keep this running so I can kill it with my guy, but the problem is I don't actually want my guy to be killing this Voidwalker, because then the Knife Juggler holds up terribly against both of these creatures. We're actually going to do this, we're going to do that, and then we're going to kill the Scarlet Crusader that way. And we're going to pass the turn. So we have a Lightwell. Lightwell is honestly not being super great here, unfortunately. This could end up being just very, very bad. Okay. Well, Mana Wraith is a bit late to the party. Healing the Knife Juggler doesn't do anything. I guess we'll just play out my creatures. I'm trying not to think too hard about things. I was really hoping a knife would hit this golem. Such is not to be. Let's pass the turn. Yeah, my opponent definitely won this opening. I just had all these weird cards. Man, the Lightwell, what could this have been? This could have been something else. A Knife Juggler or something? Oh man, I don't know. My opponent has a combo. I don't think he'd be using Power Overwhelming if he didn't about to have like a Voidwalker or a Shadow Flame. Hellfire. Interesting. I don't actually understand this play. To be perfectly honest, if you're going to Power Overwhelming this early in the game and you're not doing it for the kill, I don't know. I would think that you should save the Power Overwhelming for later. Maybe my opponent forgot that I'm a priest, because what I can do now is heal my guy, kill the golem, and live to tell about it, and play Lightwell. It's a bit sad that I can't do more than that, but I'm at plenty of health against this Warlock who only has 3 cards, and I've got removal for anything big, removal for anything small, and I can steal a big thing in 2 turns. So I feel like I'm actually doing alright. That was, it seems, just a misplay on my opponent's part, using the Power Overwhelming Hellfire like that. He's going to get his own Lightwell. I guess I'm not immediately concerned by that. If we're both going to heal up, that favors me because I have the card advantage at the moment. So we're both going to get to heal up. It's going to be a while before this Lightwell will die. I could Mind Control, but that would be silly, of course. I would just rather Mind Control the next good creature he plays. That will do very nicely. Very nicely indeed. I cannot kill this Lightwell yet. I could play a Temple Enforcer, but why do that when I can do this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Lightwell, and the reason for that is it's a 50-50 coin flip, whether the Lightwell heals him or itself. It heals him, leaving itself damaged, therefore I can now kill it on my next turn. very easily. Now, a priest with a light well can still heal it with hero ability, but my opponent is not a priest. He does have a taunt, though. Ah, it's pretty good. And he's going to life tap after playing the taunt. I mean, I understand that. I mean, he's very excited to play the taunt, but you should still always draw cards first. Let's think about the situation. I could Holy Nova, finish off the light well, get this down to 3 health. Unfortunately, 3 health doesn't really do it. I could Shadow Word Death and kill that, of course. That's one option. Or I could play Temple Enforcer. I could actually play both of those things. Haha, okay, well, we'll just do this then. My opponent does have an out here, which is Twisting Nether, but I think that's an epic. And even then, the Golem would come back. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, these goddamn things are so irritating. Wow, that was a really good pick. So my opponent had a 50-50 chance of getting something good or something bad. And he actually beat 25% odds of getting the absolute best thing that he could have possibly stolen, because this thing has the extra life from the Temple Enforcer. God, am I really going to lose this game because of this crap? Jesus. Well, let's think. I could deal 8 damage to him, take him down to 9 health. Holy Nova puts him at 7. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the kill here. And I'm just going to go for the approach that has worked very well against me, which is just to put a lot of stuff onto the board when you're ahead and make it so that your opponent has to take time killing your creatures and you're still squeaking damage through. He also can't life tap anymore, so that's good news for me. Holy Nova is 2 damage to the face, so he's down to 7. I might have a Hellfire here. Ah, well, I'm okay with that, actually, because I draw a card from the Acolyte, first of all. Second of all, the Golem does come back, so if my opponent doesn't stop to kill it, it'll deal 2 damage to him. Third of all, it dealt damage to him. And fourth of all, he still has to kill this Lightwell. Shadow Bolt on my Golem. Well, that's actually fine. Alright, so this is actually okay here. Because, well, I have Mind Control, which is an option. Let me think about this. I think actually what I'd rather do is this. I'm going to just Holy Nova, because it heals me a bit, and it kills off his 7 damage creature, and then I'm just going to play the Squire attend me. So basically my opponent's screwed. He doesn't have enough damage to kill me, and this 4-4 is threatening to kill him, so he has to kill the 4-4. Okay, so we got into a little bit of trouble there with that Mind Control tech, but thankfully we managed to draw out of it. And I think my opponent made a misplay earlier with that Power Overwhelming on the Fen Creeper. All it really did was let him deal 4 extra damage to me. The Fen Creeper, and then, because what he did afterwards was he played a Hellfire, but the thing is though, Fen Creeper has 6 health, it would have survived Hellfire anyway, so if you want to play Hellfire, that's fine, hang on to your Power Overwhelming for later. So given how that went out, and given that my opponent got the luckiest possible flip with his Mind Control, he would have won the game had he played correctly earlier, I think. But he also got insanely lucky with the Mind Control tech, picking the absolute best possible creature it could have. Granted, I guess I could have played around it, but, man, I was thinking of Twisting Nether not being worth playing around. Had I thought about, well, maybe Twisting Nether or the Mind Control tech, maybe I would have held back my 6-6. God damn it, Docus Pocus, the mage. Hate playing against mages. Maybe the problem is that this deck does have a decent late game, but it's like, I have endgame creatures that survive Flame Strike. What I don't have are early game creatures that survive Flame Strike. I've got the Chillwind Yeti and the Charging 2/5 guy, but that's it. My opponent's going to coin something out. Swamp Ooze. Alright. I'm really sad to see that, because I wanted to play this Mana Wraith and be awesome. Let's actually play the Mana Wraith. I don't want to play this Grunt because it's like the only taunt I have in the whole deck, other than like... Is it the only? I think it's the only taunt I have, so I don't want to throw him away against the Ooze. I'd rather trade the Mana Wraith for the Ooze. My opponent's going to attack past. Well, what I'm actually going to do now is play the Grunt. So the reason I'm doing this is that I'm taking away the option for my opponent to kill the Mana Wraith now. So if she has a 3-mana card that she was planning on playing after trading away for the Mana Wraith, she can't. And she's already used the coin. Mirror Image. Well, that's a spell, so it doesn't have to follow the rules of the Mana Wraith. And she's going to actually trade away my Taunter here and work on my Mana Wraith, which is perfectly reasonable. Lightwell is unfortunately coming too late to the rescue, but what I am going to do is I'm going to heal my Mana Wraith. I could have played the Dalaran Mage, But basically, the choice was to either put a new creature on the board or keep the creature I already have, and this creature could very well be a pain for my opponent, so I'm actually going to keep it around.
We have many.
Kirin Tormage. And she, of course, has a secret to go with it. God, cannot catch a break. Alright, well, here I have a couple of options. One is to play Holy Nova. It'll kill the mirror image, and it'll let me kill the mage with the thing. I think I need to get a creature down, though. Even if it's mirror image, then so be it. A mirror entity, then so be it. I'm already behind. It's not that. I'm actually kind of hoping it's a Vaporize or an Ice Barrier, because any of the spell countering ones would be really, really bad. Fireball and a Twilight Drake, that's actually pretty good. I'm happy to see that. She's going to keep on attacking past this Mana Wraith. Like she thinks it benefits her. Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and see exactly what we have here. Basically, if this is a Vaporize and my Mana Wraith is going to die, I don't want to pay extra for my creatures. So let's actually just do this first. It is not. So it's not Mirror Entity or Mana Wraith. Uh-oh. It is... I mean, it could be Ice Block, but first of all, that's an epic, and second of all, it sucks. So the most likely thing that could be right now is actually some kind of a spell counter, which blows. So basically, either my Holy Nova or my Shadow Madness is going to get countered or spellbent. Now, if it's a counter spell, the Holy Nova will come through. Excuse me. If it's a Spellbender, the Holy Nova comes through, but the Shadow Madness will get Spellbent, and the Mind Control will get Spellbent as well. So here's where I really want like a Power Word Shield, but sadly I never drafted Power Word Shields. Oh geez, what is going on with these secrets? I never drafted any Power Word Shields. That's a 1-mana way to fling off a spell. Oh god, it's getting to be bad. So do I keep the Holy Nova or do I keep the Shadow Madness? Well, let's see if this is a Vaporize now. It's a Vaporize, okay, so I don't need to pay extra mana for my creatures. That's cool, I guess. Oh god, I will play this. See if it's a Mirror Entity. Nope, okay. Kill that thing. And I'm actually going to heal it up. I don't want to play this thing. Well, do I want to play this thing? I guess technically at 2 health it survives, so for the time being. But I'd actually rather play this and Holy Nova at the same time. So we'll just heal up my guy. That's a turn. I have card advantage here. I'm going to have to make a very ugly move soon. I'm going to have to use Holy Nova or Shadow Madness to flush out this very, very likely counter spell. And that sucks. So healing this did absolutely nothing, and it's at 3 health, so it survives Holy Nova. That's wonderful. Well, let's do this. I'm going to play this guy. We're going to play Holy Nova to see if we have a counter spell in our hands. If we do, we need to clear it out, because I want Mind Control to be actually playable. I actually would have Mind Controlled right now if there wasn't a really good chance that this was a counter spell, Spellbender. Yeah, counter spell or Spellbender. So let's see what this does. Alright, so it's a counter spell. Okay. So basically, that sucks, because my guy's just going to die now. But the good news is I flushed out the counter spell, so now if my opponent plays a 3-power creature, I can actually kill it and the Argent Commander with Shadow Madness, like this, for example. Arcane Intellect to draw a couple of cards. It's getting her ahead. However, I'm going to get ahead a little bit with Shadow Madness, and even more ahead with Mind Control later on, so this should be okay. Just got a spell here for 4 mana, it seems. Or not. Alright, perfect. Wow, this is actually really perfect. So I'm going to steal this. Yoink. Kill them. And play the Squire. So Flame Strike will kill it. I don't mind, however, her using a 7-mana global removal spell to kill a 5-mana card. And that will be her whole turn. She's got a Mad Bomber. She's hoping one of them will hit the Squire so that the hero ability could finish it off. However, the Mad Bomber did not really work. So now the Squire can actually kill the Mad Bomber. Okay, that was smart. That's pinging this guy down so the Mad Bomber will kill it, which is a reasonable decision. I could play a Holy Nova here to kill off the Mad Bomber and damage the Tiger, but the Tiger, well, I mean, the Tiger's going to live no matter what. So I could play Shattered Sun Cleric, and in fact, I think I actually will. This will make it so that the Silverhand Knight trades against the Tiger. I'm also going to heal the Knight, so that my opponent has to use, if she does play Flame Strike, she'll have to use Hero Ability to finish this thing off. And I don't want to play the Lightwell, because it'll just, well, actually, I will play the Lightwell. Lightwell's pretty stupid at this point. I wish I hadn't taken it. I mean, it kind of opened me up, like if I'd had an Inner Fire in this deck, you know, there's a possibility that Lightwell could have done great things, but without Inner Fire, Lightwell just kind of sucks. Alright, she's going to silence it, which is fine by me, I suppose. I'm playing Azure Drake, which is less fine. Oh man, she's just putting good creatures on the board. Basically, her creatures are fine, which is really sad. Boulder Fist Ogre is a good card, so I have two options. I can either steal her Drake, or I can play an Ogre. I'm actually going to steal the Drake here. So it's like another 2-for-1. The Spellbender is now going to have to trade into the Drake, because you don't want to let a Priest keep a Drake on the field. In fact, I'm actually going to do this trade myself. So basically, that guards me a bit against Flame Strike and leaves me with a good creature. I have 4 creatures to her 4 cards. This thing is totally useless, though. The only thing, I think literally the only thing that could happen in this game is this could get pumped by Dark Iron Dwarf. Pretty sure it's the only thing. Also, what is it with everyone playing 3 toughness creatures against my Holy Novas? Oh, wait a minute! I have Holy Nova. No! Oh, no! Oh, my God! That is so frustrating. I actually had the spell damage, so I could have popped Divine Shield, killed them both with Holy Nova. But because it got silenced. Wow, that was 2 silences that my opponent was running. God darn it. Alright, we're just going to do this. Heal up. And swing. Alright, so we're actually trying to maybe race my opponent out a little bit here. It is possible that I'll be able to do that. Where maybe, like, my opponent leaves my stuff alone, and then I can, like, attack, Holy Nova, Holy Smite, and we'll see what happens. Looks like my opponent, though, with that Stormwind Champion is not going to have any of it. Oh my god, the double Spellbreaker was so good for my opponent, it actually hurts. So she pops Divine Shield, kills a creature for free. Luckily, the 7 health prevents her from using the Spellbreaker, plus the hero ability to kill this off. I can't quite race her out, unfortunately. I can get her down to 9, 7, 5. And she has monstrous, absolutely monstrous stuff on the board. Well, you know what I need now? I need another Mind Control. I've already used one, but I need another one. And yep, she's going to work my guy down, which is perfectly reasonable. And pass the turn. I think. I mean, a mirror image would actually be pretty great here. So, if she has that for 1 mana, she should do it. Otherwise, Docus Pocus should just pass the turn. There we go, buddy. Thanks. Bluegill Warrior, not good here. Because it deals 2 damage. Gotta be kidding me. Alright, well, let's, I think, heal this guy up and kill the Stormwind Champion. Yeah, we'll do this. So we'll heal up. Kill the Stormwind Champion. Play Holy Nova. That's partially just to heal this guy up above the hero ability. We're going to play the Bluegill Warrior to kill 1 creature and Holy Smite to kill another. So basically my opponent has 3 cards to my 0, which is sad. But I do have a 6/3, which is my saving grace here. Now if she can kill it with a Frostbolt, my opponent's going to win the game and we're going to be done with this arena. If however if she's just holding like stupid random creatures and I can keep on healing this, my opponent's going to be in trouble. So she's going to spend 4/10 of her mana just to do that. That is actually buying her some time, but it's not helping her get ahead. And she's going to ping me. Interesting. I would have actually pinged the Boulder Fist Ogre, try to keep its health as low as possible. So with 5 mana, she didn't kill my Boulder Fist Ogre? Interesting. That suggests that she does not have Fireball or Polymorph. I imagine she would have used either one of those, and we'll pass the turn. So the Mind Control is nice. If she now does play a really, really big card, I can at least steal it. Arcane Explosion is interesting. Is that a Flame Strike coming up? It's a Flame Strike coming up. I'm gonna say a bad word, I apologize, folks. Fucking mages. Alright, Knife Juggler is actually really terrible here. Because it just dies to the Gnomish Inventor. I'm not gonna steal that Gnomish Inventor. The reason being that she's dealing 3 damage to me a turn, I'm healing 2 a turn. So I'm content to wait things out. My opponent is quite clever here. She's playing a bad creature. She's playing around the Mind Control. Now she's dealing 5 damage a turn. I'm healing 2, so she's hitting me for 3 every turn. So I'm falling behind now. Harvest Golem, though, that's playable. I don't want to play the Knife Juggler and the Harvest Golem because I might actually hit this thing and enrage it. So we'll not do that. We'll just play the Harvest Golem here. Pass the turn. Oh my god. The double Spellbreaker. If she hadn't had a Spellbreaker and I could have actually kept the Twilight Drake, then Holy Nova and Holy Smite would have both been so good it would have actually hurt my soul. Okay, well, again, I still don't have anything good to Mind Control, but we will just kill this thing off. And play a Chillwind Yeti. Again, I'm hanging on to this Knife Juggler. There's no need to play it when it's just going to die. I'm healing up enough that my opponent should not be able to race me out. She can hit me for 6 damage down to 9, so a Pyroblast would actually win her the game. couple of Pyro Fireballs would win as well. There's a Dark Iron Dwarf. Is that going to be used to trade against my Yeti? Seems to be. Alright, I think now comes the time for Mind Control. I can't wait any longer. Ah, Frost Elemental. I take it all back. Alright. So then, unfortunately, both these things have 4 health, so the Knife Juggler cannot kill them. And if I do play the Knife Juggler and I play the Frost Elemental after it, I have to choose who I'm freezing before I see where the knife goes, because it says after you summon a minion. So, like, if I could choose where the knife went, I could just ping one of them off and then freeze the other one so the Knife Juggler could trade. As it is playing the Knife Juggler, it's just going to die. Although, maybe I want that. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll just play a Knife Juggler, and we'll hope that the Knife Fling hits the Gnomish Inventor. I'm behind, so I might as well start taking risks. Alright, I hit the wrong creature. That is sad. But I've got a Mind Control here, so worst case, I'll be stealing the Dark Iron Dwarf. Best case, I might steal something even bigger she'd play. She has a Fireball now. It's good it's not going at my face. And she's going to finish me off with that Gnomish Inventor and ping me a little bit. Alright, fair is fair. Silence. That is extremely unhelpful. Well, we'll take this 4-3. And I'm actually going to heal him so that the Gnomish Inventor plus Hero ability does not kill the Dark Iron Dwarf. Oh, what could the silence have been? It could have been some kind of a creature, right? Yeah, that would have been better here than the silence. Silence is actually really, really bad right now. Well, it just got a little bit better. I can silence off the taunt, so I can kill the Gnomish Inventor finally. That'll be nice. I don't know what my opponent is holding. It seems to be some kind of maybe weird removal spell or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what card a mage could have that she wouldn't want to play. Maybe like an Ironbeak Owl. Okay, change of plans slightly. Let's actually go ahead and kill this engine. Yeah. Do this, heal. So now my opponent can use the Gnomish Inventor plus the Hero ability to kill this off, and then we are in an official top deck war with my opponent having the edge because she plays first. Although it's interesting is she only has 2 cards in her deck, so if she cannot kill me with her stuff, then she'll be in trouble. Oh no, that's actually really terrible. So both of her creatures are at 1 health. Have I played both my Holy Novas? I think I have. Temple Enforcer, well, it's got to come down. She can deal 5 damage to me a turn, which will actually kill me in time before she can fatigue herself to death. But if this thing can live for a turn, I can kill off a creature and reduce her damage to 3 per turn, I'll be fine. Oh my god, that's terrible. I've already used both Mind Controls. Fairy Dragon, interesting. So she's going to win with 1 card in her deck. Acolyte of Pain is not going to save me here. Oh, the silence was really terrible. So she drew out her last card. She drew 5 more cards than I did this game, and she's just now going to win because of this 11th hour Boulder Fist Ogre. Well, it was in her deck. It was going to have to happen because she drew literally every card, and that is going to be the game. So, we have seen it happen, folks. Papa Boris's streak with the Priest is officially at an end. We have a grossly unimpressive arena here with 3 wins. I probably could have done something a little bit better, but I'm actually going to say that I think the reason I lost this is because I played against mages. Every single one of my losses was to a mage. Everyone who was not a mage, I beat pretty easily. So that was just, I think, I mean, of course there's always things I could have done better, but I think primarily it was just bad luck coming up against so many mages when my deck was sort of weak against them. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this run and found it interesting, do please like and or subscribe. I'll appreciate your support. And if you'd like to commence Papa Boris's Happy Fun Time bonus hour, let's commence that now. Alright, 25 gold for 3 wins. I'll take it. And, I mean, I don't really mind getting Dust. Dust has its uses. In a way, Dust is more valuable than gold because I have a lot of gold. But I don't have all the cards that I want. Got a golden rare. That's cool. And a crappy rare. Let's go ahead and see. So the commons are duplicates. I think I have enough of these Blade Masters. Oops. Just because I'm saying the word plural doesn't mean I have to type it plural. Alright, there we go. Yeah, we got 2 foily ones. Yeah, we'll just disenchant one right now. The reason I disenchant things early is I don't want to have a day where, like, because I haven't been disenchanting stuff, I have to, like, go through my entire collection and like, disenchant everything. That would be annoying as hell. So let's just go ahead and disenchant it while the memory's fresh. So we're coming up on 600 wins in the arena. I'll try to keep an eye on it so that when I get up to 1,000, I'll know it, and I'll do something special to commemorate it. Probably the special thing I'll do is play in another arena. Anyway, let's take a sneak peek at our next arena. Since that first one was so quick, I'll probably just play another one really soon here. It's going to be either a rogue, a warrior, or a hunter. Alright, well, we'll just probably keep the failure train running and play as warrior. I believe it's been the longest, although if hunter was longer ago, then I'll play that as well. Thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.